So when you and I were working together, when
Yeah.
I was your client
Yeah.
back in the early days,
Back
back in the early days,
yeah, back before,
long time ago,
back before sunshine. Anyway,
you presented some of these truths to me
Right.
while I was in a contracted state
Yeah.
in the moment.
Yeah.
But something about it, it was like, and you would say, either it's true or it's not.
right.
Either you have choice or you don't.
Yeah.
Either it's true or it's not. And it created this dissonance in me, this what we call in psychology cognitive dissonance, where I had two different thoughts at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So one thought was, oh, I really want that to be true. I really want it to be true that I have choice.
Right.
But the other thought was, well, you know that's not true because look at all the times in your life that you haven't had a choice.
Yeah.
It hasn't felt like you've had a choice.
Right.
And so those two thoughts were conflicting in my mind. But you bringing the axiom up created that
And
in me.
we talk about, as that was being brought up, the potential for what this could do.
Right. Like if it were true that,
that piece, right?
if it were true that you always have a choice, what might be different in your life?
And why wouldn't you choose that? Like there's often a supporting story that keeps us in the contraction.
Right. Can you give an example of that?
Yeah. So let's say somebody. So I'll give you the big one.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's wronged you, and they did something very bad.
They actually did in
Yeah,
real life. It
in real
actually
life.
happened.
Not in your mind. Somebody, and you and we talk about that. I have a choice of how I view that person. Well, we know that if we're angry or in a contracted state, when I think about that person, if that's where it pulls me. Now you're telling me that I have a choice about how I think about that person.
It doesn't feel like you have a choice.
Well, it feels unsafe.
Right.
So so you're telling me that if I lose all my barriers that I built up over years
to keep myself safe from this person.
Right. So we're saying, yeah, because you're also trapped in there. You're trapped in there with that belief. So when we come out of that belief system, and this is a big one, doesn't necessarily mean you reach out and make contact with that person.
Right.
So this book that Minnie wrote, there's all these ideas that are out there, and they're good ideas, but how do we do it? We often hear the one, being angry with somebody is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die.
Right.
It's
good. It sounds great. Yes. But how?
Right.
How do I actually
First
forgive?
of all, the first key to all of this stuff is the hardest one, that I have choice, that I have sovereign agency. I can choose something different.
Even when it doesn't feel like I can, even when I feel trapped.
In fact, it'll feel the worst the first few times that we do this, because it's like I'm literally stepping into something I've never stepped into before. Now we've all had this happen, but we didn't consciously decide to do it.
Okay, so can you give an example of that?
So we've all had what we talk about as flow states. Mm-hmm. Right? So that's where I just knew I was doing the right thing at the right time, whether it was canceling a plane ticket to not get on the plane or get on a plane, or writing a song, those places where I just knew I was exactly where I was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. So what we're suggesting is that shouldn't be a random act. It should be our normal way of functioning.
And there's actually a predictable, repeatable process that people can go through to come back into that flow state. I have an example about choice.
Okay.
And she's coming in, so we'll see where it goes.
Who knows?
So my dad and I had kind of a bumpy relationship throughout his life. Lovely when I was little, and then him and my mom split up, and more fraught as I became an adult. And I was kind of stuck in this people pleasing with him.
Right.
He was kind of stuck in like wanting me to be a certain way. So we had this weird dynamic that would play out. And there was a lot of kind of duty and obligation stuff underneath it. So we were having a family reunion at our house, which is in a little small town in the middle of the mountains. It's a really beautiful getaway space. And so every couple of years I host a family reunion. And this particular family reunion, I didn't want to invite my dad. My own father. I was like, it's just really hard to be around him. And as he was aging, he's passed away now, but as he was aging, it was like getting harder and harder to be around him. And I just couldn't. And so Faison and I went on a drive. And we drove, and through that drive, I just wept and wept and wept and wept and wept and wept. And through that weeping, it was like a chance for all the disappointment, the expectations, the failed moments, the missed moments between us to just come out, right? And just, I was just kind of crying it all out, and I was talking, and I was like kind of raging and crying. And after that, something came that was out, not me, right? And it was like this deep peacefulness and this deep calm. And what I realized was that, well, he's just a really old man who's really alone, and we don't know how much time he's got left. And that like, it really hit me right in my heart, like just this understanding of who this person is, beyond who he is as my dad, beyond the sadness and beyond my expectations and the failed relationship, beyond all of that. I just saw him as a human that was just trying to survive, trying to make his way.
Right.
And it was such a unexpected moment, right? And Monique actually talks about this in her book. She talks about unconditional love, and how unconditional love is something that just, it comes through us. We can't get it when we're in this contracted state. We can't get it from our human self. That
should be really good news for people,
right? Because it's like, I should be able to forgive them. I should be able to love them, but I just can't, because there's just too much history, or it's just too hard. Right. So in that moment, that choice was restored for me of how I get to interact with my dad. But it didn't really come from me.
No, it doesn't.
It came from another place. And so some of these principles, some of these spiritual axioms will feel to the egoic mind or the cognitive mind like they don't make sense. Like, how can I have a choice in this, right? He's done these things. I've had these responses. We have this history. Every time I'm around him, I'm a bit on edge. And there's good reason for that.
Yes.
Right? How do I have any choice in that? Well, in that moment, I saw, like, because I got this new perspective on him, suddenly choice opened up again for me. Like, I get to choose. So I did invite him that summer to the family reunion, and it was fraught. It was just a continuation of our, nothing much changed on the outside, but internally, I wasn't bracing against him.
Oh.
Right? I wasn't trying to make it a certain way or please him or do my duty. It was just like, okay, I'm going to spend time with this person. And then after that, even deeper, I was going to spend some time with him, and I just got this like really clear instruction of like, just go play cards with your dad. Just go play cards with your dad and spend some time with him. And I got that instruction on a Sunday, and I was going to go see him on the Monday. Monday, he actually ended up in hospital, and then he died on the Thursday. So, but before he died, it's like I had made peace.
Yeah.